For sages, the art of transformation. Hello everyone, and welcome. We often speak of cultivation. But what exactly are we cultivating? In Volume 5 of the Shurangama Sutra, within the section on the 25 sages' perfect penetration, the Buddha acts as a great mentor. He invites 25 honor students, who have already graduated, to share their unique cheat codes for spiritual liberation. Today, we will dive deep into the stories of 4 sages. Their paths are entirely different. One relies on preaching, one on discipline, one on stillness, and one on the transformation of desire. You will discover that cultivation isn't about turning you into someone else. It's about using your existing raw materials to forge a vessel of pure gold. Chapter 1. Purna, using the sound of Dharma to sever the demons of the 5 skandhas. First, we have Purna. He describes himself as having possessed unhindered eloquence. For eons he is the foremost in preaching among the Buddha's disciples. He shares a vital logic of cultivation. The act of preaching itself is a high-intensity form of practice. Purna explains that he doesn't just speak of suffering and emptiness, but can penetrate the ultimate reality of true suckness. This tells us that preaching isn't just reciting books. It is the natural, flowing expression of the Buddha's wisdom. If you are a teacher of the Dharma, you must have the courage to subdue demonic obstructions within the very sound of your teachings. What are these obstructions? When we are working, speaking, or helping others, we might suddenly feel exhausted, develop a sore throat, lose energy, or feel the urge to retreat. Our master points out, these are actually the demons of the 5 skandhas acting like bandits, robbing you of your merit. Purna's secret is fixing the mind on one point, focusing solely on the Dharma, and refusing to recharge the ego. If you don't follow the demons, they naturally wither away. Thus, preaching until all outflows are extinguished and our hardship is attained is a magnificent path of achieving self-benefit through the benefit of others. Chapter 2. Apali, the art of precepts, from restraining the body to total fluidity. If Purna represents dynamic expression, Apali represents the pinnacle of static discipline. Known as the foremost in precepts, he is the founding patriarch of the Vinaya school. Apali's path is beautifully layered, moving from restraining the body to restraining the mind. Restraining the body. This means strictly adhering to the precepts. 3,000 dignified demeanors and 80,000 subtle rules might sound like shackles. But to Apali, they are tools for clearing the garbage of life. When your body stops making mistakes, the body attains freedom. Restraining the mind, once the body is still, one can move on to conquering the wild, wandering mind. Our master emphasizes that this restraint eventually leads to non-attachment. When you use the precepts to purify the root of all subtle negative karmas, the body and mind enter a state of nirvana-like stillness. In this state, your life is like a body with all meridians unblocked, a state called total fluidity of body and mind. This isn't just about rules. It is a deep realignment of life's energy, allowing you to move through any boundary with ease, doing as you wish without ever overstepping the mark. Chapter 3. Majalayana, swirling back the light of the mind to reveal life's clarity. Next is the well-known Mojalayana. While famous for his supernatural powers, his awakening was actually quite rational. He attained realization upon hearing the deep meaning of dependent origination from a fellow disciple. Mojalayana had a special ability to trace the line of karmic retribution back to its original cause. Our master explains that this supernatural power is simply a manifestation of spiritual nature. However, Mojalayana believed the core of practice was swirling the deep Xuanzan. Swirling the deep means taking the mind which usually looks outward, seeks outward, and chases outward, and swirling it back inward. Normally, our minds are like a bucket of muddy water. The more we stir it by chasing the world, the cloudier it gets. Mojalayana's method is sedimentation. When you stop rushing outward and sever external ties, internal causes no longer arise. Over time, the light of the mind shines forth naturally, just as muddy water becomes crystal clear when left to sit. This isn't just about magic. It is a clear, penetrating wisdom that sees through the particles and waves of the universe. Chapter 4. Ukasma, turning lust into sacred flames, the most powerful transformation. Finally, Ukasma, the fire-headed Vajra. His story offers the most hope to ordinary people. He candidly admits that eons ago, he was full of lustful desire, not just a physical impulse. but an uncontrollable, surging energy. The king of emptiness Buddha did not tell him to suppress it. Instead, he taught him a method. Observe. Observe every detail of the body, feel the cold, warmth, and energy within the limbs. Our master teaches that lust is essentially a surge of ki, a burning reaction. If you chase it, it becomes the fire of affliction. If you remain still and observe it, it becomes energy, through internal condensation of spiritual light. Ukasma stopped rushing outward and instead contemplated the warmth and touch of the body and mind, allowing the surging energy to flow without obstruction. Eventually, he discovered that these habits were originally empty and still. His outflows were extinguished, and he gave birth to a great treasure flame. He transformed from a man plagued by desire into a Vajra warrior who turns the fire of lust into the fire of wisdom. This entry point tells us, the perceived flaws in your life are often your most powerful sources of energy. It all depends on whether you know how to transform them. Conclusion. The perfect synergy of karma and aspiration. For sages, for lives, for methods. Purna shows us that the sound of Dharma can dissolve afflictions. Apali proves that discipline can lead to the fluidity of body and mind. Mojaliana teaches that inward focus can stop our outward wandering. Ukasmo reminds us that even lust can be transformed into wisdom. Cultivation is not about becoming someone else. As our master says, it is about finding the specific point that fits your nature and brings you joy. Even if you are currently mired in worry or bad habits, it doesn't matter. As long as you are willing to experiment, observe, and remain still in the laboratory of your own nature, you too can realize your own perfect penetration within the flowing stream of life. Thank you for listening to this sharing of the Shurangama Sutra by the Buddhist Path Association Australia. We'll see you in the next episode.